to welcome amongst us our friend Mani Shankar Aiyar. Mani, welcome to Calcutta.
Mr. Chairman, in the words of Swami Vivekananda in Chicago in 1893, brothers and sisters, Happy New Year. So Hinduism is a great spiritual religion. Hindutva is a political tract. Hindutva came only in 1923. For thousands of years before Hindutva, Hinduism faced trial and tribulation, and yet survived, indeed flourished, with no need of Hindutva protection. For example, the first census in 1872 found, after what Hindutvists call a millennium of slavery, that less than a quarter of India's population had embraced Islam. Hinduism is resilient, self-sufficient, in no need of protection. It is entirely capable of protecting itself. Hindutva is not the protector of Hinduism. Hindutva is the perverter of Hinduism. It Semiticizes the Sanatan Dharma based on an imported idea of territorial nationalism as established by Savarkar's biography of Joseph Mazzini and embellished in practice by Dr. Munje and Guruji Golwalkar through their admiration, respectively, of Mussolini's fascism and the racist theories of Hitler's Nazism. What I hope to establish in the next 9 minutes is that faced with a choice between Savarkar's Hindutva and the Hinduism of Gandhi or Swami Vivekananda, there is no way their Hinduism can be protected or promoted by Savarkar's Hindutva. For there is an unresolvable contradiction between Gandhi's collection, the essence of Hinduism, and Savarkar's 1923 publication, The Essentials of Hindutva. For, while on the first page of Savarkar's book is emblazoned the slogan, "Hinduize politics and militarize Hindudom," Gandhiji, in Young India, October 1921, defined what he said was the creed of Hinduism as the search for truth through non-violent means. While Savarkar wrote, "Hindus understand themselves as Hindus through acts of violence," the Mahatma wrote, "The Hindu has an old age civilization. He is essentially non-violent." You've seen that Hindutva vigilantes beat up and even kill anyone suspected of hoarding, eating, or transporting beef, cow's meat. While Gandhiji wrote, it is a denial of Hinduism and of ahimsa to kill a human being to protect a cow. How then can Hinduism rely on thugs and murderers calling themselves Hindutvavadis to protect itself? Hindutva is Hinduism in paranoia. It asks 80% Hindus to quiver in front of 14% Muslims. What is Hindutva? Hindutva is a BJP leader slapping a blind, hungry tribal girl because she attends a Christmas lunch in a church. Hindutva raids shopping malls to tear down Christmas decorations. And when it comes to Buddhism, Swami Vivekananda at Chicago on 26 September 1893, described Buddhism as the fulfillment of Hinduism and went on to affirm that the separation of Brahman from Buddha is the cause of the downfall of India. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. Now contrast this with Hindutva. Savarkar described Buddhism as an existential threat to all Indians, to all Hindus. He described it as the ultimate negation of Hindutva, bearing the opiate of universalism and non-violence. He said it was disastrous to national virility and even the existence of the Hindu race. He viewed Ashoka's non-violence, I'm quoting him, as being antithetical to being a Hindu, and thus also unnatural in the sense of being against nature. Now let's turn to the epics. Gandhiji read the Ramayana as the unfolding of Ram Rajya, while Savarkar described, and I'm going to quote him, Savarkar described Lord Ramachandra's victory over the king of Lanka. That is the words of Savarkar. The victory over the king of Lanka as the final stage in the colonization of the land. That's how he views it, which created a unified nation of Hindus, making a territory conquered by Hindus a holy place meant only for Hindus. What connection is there between Gandhiji's Ramayana and Savarkar's Ramayana? Tonight, you have to choose between Gandhi's Ramayana and Savarkar's, between Gandhi's Mahabharata and Savarkar's. Gandhi and Savarkar first met in London in 1910. Savarkar quoted the Gita to urge warfare as a duty that Hinduism imposes upon its followers. Gandhi replied that the real message of the Mahabharata is the futility of war, the emptiness of violence. Later, writing in his journal Young India in August 1931, Gandhiji wrote, and I quote, "The author of the Mahabharata has not established the necessity of physical warfare. On the contrary, he has proved its futility. He has made the victors shed tears of sorrow and repentance and has left them nothing but a legacy of misery." Hindutva regards as true Bharatis only those whose Pitrubhu and Punyabhu lies between the Sindhu and the ocean, thus excluding Muslims and Christians who look towards Makkah and Jerusalem or Rome to pray. What did Gandhi say? On the other hand, Gandhi said, quote, I do not believe in the exclusive divinity of the Vedas. I believe in the Bible, the Quran, the Zindavesta, to be as much divinely inspired as the Vedas. And what of Swami Vivekananda, who I think in Calcutta is called Swami Vivekananda? He wrote in his famed essay, I Believe, he said, I accept all religions and worship with them all. I worship God with every one of them in whatever form they worship Him. I shall go to the mosque of the Mohammedan. I shall enter the Christian's church and kneel before his crucifix. I shall enter the Buddhist temple where I shall take refuge in his law. I shall go into the forest and sit down in meditation with the Hindu. And what did Savarkar write? he said, even after the horrible experience of 1,000 years or so, the Hindus went on tolerating even such a hideous religion as Islam. This is Hindutva. While Swami Vivekananda wrote from Almora on 10 June 1898, for our own homeland, a juncture of two great systems, Hindu and Islam, Vedanto brain and Islam body is the only hope. For the protection of Hinduism, would you turn to Gandhiji and Swamiji, or to Savarkar and Golwalkar and Sadhvi Pragya Thakur? Or indeed, would you trust Sudhanshu Trivedi above the Mahatma? Or that Hampstead Hindu, Sri Chopin Dasgupta, over Swami Vivekananda? Long before the Calcutta Debating Circle conceived today's debate, writing in Young India 100 years ago, in April 1926, Gandhiji affirmed with amazing prescience, many styling themselves Sanatanis stalk the earth. He went on to say, God's grace will descend on those who do His will, not on those who simply mutter Ram, 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 Ram. It is such Santanis muttering Ram, Ram that we will be hearing from this evening of how they have saved Hinduism by smashing mosques to smithereens and building glitzy temples.
Please.
Dhanyavad. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Please keep your emotions to yourself. This is Calcutta Debating Circle and this is the Calcutta Club. I believe I do not have to repeat it anymore. It is almost, you mentioned Vivekananda about 5 times, Mani. If you look back at the picture of the Chicago Art Institute, as Swamiji was sat there, just prior to his lecture, to the left of Swamiji was sat a lean figure. We do not trouble to identify who he was. He was Angarika Dharmapala. And it is from the friendship between Vivekananda and Angarika Dharmapala that they come back to India and the revival of Sri Lankan Buddhism starts. And starts from where? From College Street in Kolkata. That is where the Mahabodhi Society is. And as time would have it, a year before, just a year before 1893, in 1892, I think it will be referred to, it is from this city that the word Hindutva is coined for the first time. As the evening rolls on, we call the first interjector. The first interjector, which is Ms. Mukherjee, for Mr. Mani Shankar Aiyar. Please come to the podium. You need to walk up to the podium a bit faster. So can we get Natasha, get it organized? Yes, what's your question for Mr. Aiyar? You can answer it from there, Mani, okay?
Good evening, sir. I am Advitya Mukherjee from Mahadevi Birla Shishu Vihar. I am studying in class 9 currently. So I would like to ask you, is Congress failing to provide effective leadership to the liberal wing of Indian politics? Moreover, I want to add that Hindutva groups once provided protection to the Hindu families in Kashmir during their troubled days in 1990.
So, your question was primarily that Mr. Aiyar had a liberal point of view, but is that liberal point of view getting political leadership or not? Okay, yes. Mani, that's you.
Frankly, I haven't followed the question. But the interpretation that you've given to it is, do I, as a liberal, I feel as sorrowful as the lady Anjamita did about the Hindus who've been killed in Bangladesh. But at the same time, I feel horrified that here in India, we have Muslims called akhlaq, called Pahalwan, called Junaid, who have been killed. Why don't you mention them? Why is the fault always on the other side? Liberalism does not mean appeasement. Liberalism means recognizing evil, whether it is done by a Hindu or it's done by somebody else, whether it is done by a foreigner or whether it is done in India. Liberalism means that we accept whatever is available and we reject nothing.
Manik, probably,
don't even reject Mr. Trivedi.
If I just interrupt, probably what the young lady meant was, like the concepts of Hindutva today has got a political thrust behind it.
Yes.
Has the liberal ideas got a political thrust behind it today?
We had a very strong political thrust behind the ideas of liberalism, which were largely attributable to Mahatma Gandhi and to Jawaharlal Nehru. Over time, the other side has taken over. But even today, the Hindutva forces are unable to get very much more than 1/3 of the votes cast, given a few points here or there. 2/3 of the electorate have never accepted the political philosophy of Hindutva, and therefore the liberal idea survives. Whether liberal parties do or not is quite a different matter.
Thank you, Mani. Thank you, Advaita. I think we'll cut it at that. Thanks. Thank you. Well done.